What's up, agents? Patrick Wolf here. Welcome to another video. This is a PTS video. I'm currently in the PTS and I've been doing some testing with regards to explosive damage and what could be potentially the next, best in slot or best build for seeker mines or for explosive builds. Previously, it was China Light Industries with BTS U-gloves and stacking explosive damage on every piece of your gear, and then on the backpack stacking further damage buffs that could increase your explosive damage, like tech support. But in TU6, it's going to be a bit different. We cannot stack explosive damage. This is just a video to give you guys a bit of guidance for what you need to do and what gear sets you need to get to prepare for the update. Episode 2 is coming out very soon, probably beginning to middle of October. So we need to get ready for it. So what do you guys want to be using for TU6? Now, the first thing I want to show you is what specialization we're going to use, which should be obvious, but we have to go over everything. So we're going to obviously want to use Demolitionist. Make sure you guys get everything unlocked. All of this because you get 25% explosive damage, which is going to be very important for this. We are not going to min-max this build. Let me tell you guys something now. It's unreal. I show people builds, ideas, and then all they will say is that you should have put this piece on because it would give you this much damage. I could not care less about min-maxing my builds now. Don't you guys worry. I will min-max my builds. This is to give everyone an idea. You can go crazy. It's up to you guys to figure out what little things you can do to make it even better. I just give you the base idea and template. That is the reason for builds and for things like that. You have to adjust it to your playstyle. This is a bit different because this is more specific to explosive damage. So now you guys need to farm this gear set. You're probably going to be surprised it is not the other one hardwired, but I will explain that shortly. Negotiator's Dilemma. This is a gear set that you acquire by doing the raid. It's actually not that hard to get. You don't even have to complete the raid. Just keep doing the raid and get the gear sets. They probably will become easier to get in TU6, but it's very important you get these pieces now. And let's go over this pretty much. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about. So this is a 2-10-11. I've figured out that this is probably the best way to do it. Like I said before, you guys can min-max. Don't tell me that I should have had this rolled like this. I couldn't care less. I'm showing you guys ideas and telling you what the best gear sets are to run. So we have got 53k damage a shot, 260 RPM, 240k armor. You can get over 300k very easily if you just reroll your chest. I don't want to reroll my pieces yet because we don't know what's going to change. So I'm going to wait and see what happens in episode 2. Keep in mind, episode 2 and TU6 are the same thing. We're getting lots of content. They're actually updating the movement. You guys will be pleased to hear that State of the Game has just finished for today, the 25th of September, and they said that the movement is getting tweaked. You'll be able to move a little bit faster, and it'll be a little bit more snappier, moving from cover to cover and from stop to start again to running. So that's pretty good. Pulse is getting a slight nerf as well, and nothing stated was too interesting, if I'm honest. I spoke about the knee pads that we all know about, the new shotgun, so it wasn't very good. I wouldn't even bother going to watch it. But they just spoke about things that isn't too interesting, to be honest. So carrying on, Negotiator's Dilemma. What have we currently got here? This is more or less a hybrid between a tank and a destructive build because you want to do as much destructive explosive damage as possible. So we've got 2.6k across the board. Ideally, you would want 2.8, 2.9k so you can get the high damage like the 95, 96, 97% damage mods active. So it's up to you. Whatever mods you have is how much skill power you should have. Don't overdo it. Never overdo it. I'm sure you guys know that by now. But let's just get into this. So something that you should understand is that the Seeker mod that we're going to be using does it like 8,000 bleed a second. So when they get blown up, they're going to bleed and they tick quite hard, especially if they don't have a lot of health. So it's actually very important to put Sadist on your gun. I've chosen this because this is really effective. You one-shot people. If you hit someone with a Seeker mine and if they don't get one-shotted, keep in mind that I have failed. I've not failed to one-shot someone every single time. To be honest, guys, the clip I showed you, I think that guy had 500k armor, but I just said 400 and whatever, because I'm telling you right now, you'll one-shot everyone, and that is with no buffs active, no extra buffs, just the BTSU gloves. So Sadist, Allegro, and Overlap. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I just want to give you guys an idea of what you need to be farming, because you can farm the pieces now. So Negotiator's Dilemma. Hardwired gives you 20% skill power. Nice. Electrifies, it gives you more damage, all that, but It's really not good for this. Let me tell you guys something now. Negotiator's Dilemma is way stronger. First of all, you get explosive resistance, which actually helps you counter other Seeker Mine users because won't be very tanky. You can be very tanky, but you probably won't be depending on how much skill power you want, which is should be quite a bit. So launch a grenade at the target that depleted your armor can occur once every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds that someone's depleted armor, you can launch a grenade at them. And let me tell you now, you can almost one-shot them with that grenade. It's ridiculous. All right, it doesn't stack, unfortunately. If that could stack, that would be interesting. Press home the advantage. This is why this is so strong. Now the 4-piece unlocks all 6, which is a great change. All right, so explosions caused by the player. Stacks a bombardier buff. So every time you hit someone with a grenade, any kind of explosion, it grants the party, not just you, your whole team, plus 10% explosive damage and 10% bonus armor for 10 whole seconds. This stacks. It says it doesn't stack, which means it doesn't stack past 4. So you get 40% armor and 40% extra explosive damage. That's the best that we can have for explosions in this update. And now you can roll whatever you want. Obviously, you want health and skill power. We want to get as much skill power as we can and then spec into skill haste. So this is why we're using Negotiator's Dilemma. So we are going to have the chest piece as well. The reason why I've gone for the chest piece, the holster, and the backpack is because the knee pads are quite important. And at the moment in the PTS, you can have this right here on any piece. So this is why I've gone for this one piece. China Light Industries can roll on any piece. So you can decide and gauge. And like, please, people, don't go in the comments and tell me you should have put it as the mask and then you could have had this on the knee pad or whatever. I'm not bothered. You guys can figure that out. This is good because we get 10% extra explosive damage. That's why you need one piece of China Light. Then destructive is perfect. We get 40% flat explosive damage, which is nice. You cannot stack this. So that's why we can only have one of these, which is absolutely works perfectly with Negotiator's Dilemma. And then the BTS U gloves, I'm sure you guys know how to get that. You're going to farm it, get it. I'm sure everyone has that. Every bit of electronics that you have, we have 11 electronics. So we are getting 110% duration, healing, and damage. 110% damage, which is really good. So if you do the maths and you calculate how much damage you're getting from the Negotiator's Dilemma and things like that, it's really good, especially if you're utilizing your grenades. So you can really spec a lot into this. So if you make an NPC bleed from grenades, not only do you stack the Negotiator's Dilemma perks or the active talents, but you get the BTS U gloves to proc, and then you will just one-shot everything. It doesn't matter what it is, you can one-shot bosses with this. It's ridiculous, but this is more of a PvP build. PvE, I think you might want to spec into a little bit more tankiness, things like that, but it's up to you. This is how I'd roll it, and you might want to use different Seeker Mines, but then you would have to change it because the other Seeker Mines don't actually proc the bleed. So if you look over here, it tells you it doesn't actually proc the bleed. So if we just go into our stats right here, I can min-max this build. I can get a lot more armor. So I can get probably, I would say, if we push this, 350k armor, which is very nice. Weapons damage is not important. We don't have to go too much into this. But with all the buffs that we're getting to explosive damage, I'm pretty sure this is the best way to stack explosive damage into U6 because it just has the best utility. We cannot stack the explosive damage anymore. So I feel like this is the best way by far, and it really works really well. Even if it's not the best, you are one-shotting every single thing in your path. Now, if someone else is using Negotiator's Dilemma, they might be able to tank this. If you don't have your procs, and even if you just have your BTSU, they can actually tank this, but the bleed will kill them. It's quite hilarious. So if you guys want to, you can put this build, a 4-piece Negotiator's Dilemma with 2-piece ongoing directive, and then you'll actually make the bleed damage increase by 25%. It's actually funny, and then you can just finish them off with your gun. So it's really good with your combination of Sadist. So it's quite funny. You can make a lot of builds from this. So I've got damage mods right here. I've got 138 skill haste, 59 damage, 54 damage, which gives me PvP damage 194k, which is really good. And then cooldown 23 seconds. Now, you can focus on the cooldowns once you've reached your cap of all your mods. And then, funny enough, the chem launcher. Now, I actually use the foam chem launcher to proc the BTSU gloves, like in the clip you saw. But it's up to you how you want to proc it. 74, 80% heal. This gives me PvP repair 64k, which is a lot. 130% in 30k in normalized, which is really good. 16-second cooldown. Very nice. So that's very, very good, and I really enjoy it. It's very fun to use. If you want to go all out damage, you can use the drone that shoots mortars, the artillery drone, which would be really, really strong, which could further push this build. There are many ways to further push this build, but I just wanted to give you guys the baseline template so you can use it. So this is very, very good. This means you could just bombard players, and this also applies the bleed status effect, which will really annoy players. And it's not like in Division 1 where you could put your immune station down. They don't have that anymore unless they've got a full immunity build. So there we go. I reckon, well, I think this is the way to do it. It really works unbelievably well. So start farming agents, get all your gear ready. 21011 Negotiator's Dilemma. Make sure to go and get these pieces now, because when TU6 drops, you want to be as strong as you can be. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. It was kind of like a guide to the next future builds that we're going to be getting. So make sure to farm these pieces, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you agents in the next video. Peace out, boys.